Aloha everybody, it's Annalisa Burgos here in Honolulu, Hawaii. I am getting ready for work. I work at KITV4 here in Honolulu. It's the ABC affiliate. So I will be anchoring the 6 o'clock news today, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and do my makeup and wanted to give you an update on what's happening here in Hawaii. So essentially, there is a lot of conversations online that I've seen of people that want to come here, especially since it's summer already, right? So there's a lot of people planning their trips, they're excited, they want to come here, and I just want to give you the lay of the land of how things are here. So first of all, there is a mask mandate indoors. So everywhere you go in the state, you are required to wear a mask, regardless if you are vaccinated or not. And don't complain about it, because we have gotten some confrontations between visitors and locals who are upset that, you know, there are certain people that feel entitled and not have to wear the masks in businesses or in restaurants or things like that. So just remember, show aloha and actually follow the rules of whatever business or establishment you're going into. There was actually a really bad confrontation between a local in Maui and a family from Florida. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but the video went viral because it was the mom who was taking the video, but this was over in Maui in a Panda Express. And apparently the local was the one who was really upset. And I guess he asked the family to put their masks on because they didn't put them on. And I guess the father got upset and kind of touched him or poked at him, and he lost it and punched him, and then the other guy punched back, and yeah, it just escalated. People say don't even try to confront people who don't wear a mask, because you could end up in a situation like that, and you don't want to escalate it into violence. I mean, the police were called, the guy got a split eye, or yeah, his eyelid was cut from the punch, and yeah, it wasn't good. There was another confrontation. I don't know what's going on in Maui, but it seems like all of the ones that are going viral are on Maui. There was another confrontation with a local who, you know, told a guy in a Safeway to put on his mask because he wasn't wearing it. And so, yeah, it's been ugly. Try not to exacerbate the situation if you are from the mainland and say you don't have a mask mandate. Just put them on here, please. It's not a big deal. I know you want to exercise your freedoms, but it'll avoid a lot of bad karma and just angry locals, because right now it's just come to a boiling point. So anyway, enough of that. Outside though is a different story. So the governor just lifted the mask mandate. You could, you don't have to wear it outdoors. So that's a relief for a lot of people who want to go swimming on the beach and stuff like that. And so that's a good thing. What else? There's just a lot of tourists around. Just expect a lot of traffic. It's been pretty bad actually with, if you're trying to go to a restaurant, make sure you have reservations. Otherwise you can wait, but I don't think some restaurants or places or businesses aren't taking walk-ins. So just because there's just so many people, especially in Waikiki. So just be aware, manage your expectations. If you're going hiking and doing all that, if you're trying to book excursions, be aware that those are going to be filling up. If not already, I feel like a lot of them are already filling up. Rental cars are really expensive now, if you can even find one. I talked to a friend who works at the Maui airport Hertz, and he said that they're basically sold out till August. So just be aware that if you want to come here now during summer, it's going to be crowded. It's going to be, you're not going to have, access to things as easily as you did before. So just a warning. And don't be angry. We do get people writing to the newsroom about, oh, they didn't know that they had to quarantine because they had the wrong test. Okay, so here's the thing about the testing. So we still have a required mandatory 10-day quarantine for anyone coming in out of state. If you're flying in from the mainland or from international, you have to mandatory quarantine. unless you take part in the Safe Travels program. Now, if you've been living under a rock, the Safe Travels program is essentially this system that the government set up here where you take a COVID-19 test, a PCR swab, that's the one that goes to the back of your head, like the really deep one, and you have to get that 72 hours before your flight here and upload the PDF of the negative results into the system, into the website that they have. And if you don't do that, sorry, the screeners at the airport are going to require you to quarantine, and they're going to take your information. They're going to tell you have to go to a certain hotel. If you have an Airbnb, I mean, you may be able to have a little bit more, I guess, less of a hard time, but you will still be required to quarantine. So just be aware. We've been getting people writing in and complaining that, oh, I didn't know, I took the wrong test, I did this and this and this, and you know what? It doesn't fly anymore because this program has been in place since October. So if you're still, complaining that you didn't know about it, no one's going to believe you anymore. So we do get those letters in saying, oh, well, I'm vaccinated, I got this legit test from the state here, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't know how else to tell people about this, but we've done a lot of stories about it. I'm sure the local stations and wherever other states are have been talking about it. They're covering their tourists that are complaining, saying that why does Hawaii have this? We're all vaccinated already, and blah, blah, blah. Essentially, just stop whining. You decided to come to Hawaii, know what the rules are, and then, do it. That's basically it. I mean, I'm going through the same thing. When I go, locals basically do the same thing. When we go to the mainland, we have to be aware that we have to take the test and do all the hoops to get back here and not have to quarantine. So do your homework, make sure. I mean, the challenge is if you get a test and you don't get it back in time. That's the biggest issue. Some people have written in, so I didn't get my test back in time. It's from a legit partner, blah, blah, blah. And early on in the pandemic, of course, that was a big thing because there was just not enough supply. Nowadays, the tests have been coming back faster, at least within 24 hours, if not 48. To be fair, there are situations where people's test samples aren't registering, or they're unable to get an accurate analysis of it, so they're kind of screwed. To avoid that, kind of book tests with different companies. CVS has it, Walgreens has it. You can even get it at the airport if you really need it. Just again, these are all ways to prevent yourself the headache of having to deal with not being allowed to get out of your hotel room or your Airbnb. And before you say this, I know you're probably gonna be like, oh, well, I'm just gonna go and chance it and it'll be fine, and no one's gonna care. And yeah, I guess you can do that, and people have done that and they haven't been caught. But just be aware, if you do get caught, there is a fine. You're going to have to pay, some money. I don't know what the going rate is, but it's been like $1,000, $2,000 for a ticket if you are caught breaking the quarantine mandate. So yeah, just be aware. I don't want you riding into the newsroom and saying, oh, this is dumb, I took a legit test. And you're just not going to get any sympathy because all of that information is online. And if you want to come to Hawaii, we have rules. And that's honestly why the islands are so safe. That's why our case counts are so low. We have I don't even know, at 36,000 right now. That is nothing compared to what the rest of the country is experiencing. And there's a reason for that. They've been very, very strict. And then, we get these tourists that come in and they're like, oh, if you guys make it so hard, no one's going to want to come back and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Speaking to some of the locals who live here, they, including myself, it's like, don't have that entitled attitude when you come, because honestly, a lot of people just are averse to tourists now because of that entitlement mentality. Yeah, a lot of them work in the tourism industry, but they don't have to deal with your crap. You know, they don't care. They have their own families to feed. They have their own shit they have to deal with, you know, like, just be real. Yeah. Sorry for that S-bomb there. I just wanted to make sure that you were getting the point that, yeah, we don't want to hear tourists saying, well, we're the ones who provide the money and your economy needs us. Like, that's the worst thing you can say. And it just doesn't go well, you know? Yeah, it's kind of annoying. So, but we've seen a lot of that going around. So this is just really my effort to say, hey, you guys, just show some aloha, and the locals will show it back to you, okay? All right, so that's my soapbox for today. I've been seeing on some of these group chats on Facebook that people are, you know, wondering about where the cool places to go are, you know, the usual tourist spots. Most of them are open already, so you're good. Just know that places like Honolulu Bay have reservations now. Obviously Pearl Harbor, there's a lot of museums that have hours that are a little bit different, so just be aware. Like on Wednesdays, I think the Museum of Art isn't open. Just be aware of the wildlife. That's been a big talking point recently also, is there was a monk seal who gave birth near Waikiki about a month ago, I think now, and you know, they roped it off because monk seals are protected here in Hawaii. Like, you can serve, you know, go to jail or like get a fine if you mess with them. So they take that very, very seriously here. So don't approach monk seals, don't touch them, don't scare them, don't harass them. I mean, we've gotten the occasional stupid tourist that will do that. Just remember, you know, they are protected. Same with turtles, honu, they call them honu here. They sun themselves on the beaches. You can swim with them, you can do all that. Just don't touch them. Just don't be that person. You know, we see these videos all the time of divers and people here that, I mean, if you are a legit ocean enthusiast and you love animals, you know not to touch them or mess with them, you know? It's like a little respect. Just a little respect, just a little bit. That's kind of the one thing I notice here about Hawaii is, like, sometimes you see the worst in people when they're on vacation. I don't know what it is. I think some people just feel like they can do whatever they want when they're on vacation. It's the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing. And, you know, I actually lived in the Philippines before, and there's always like the tourists from out of the country that are just, you know, hey, I'm in the Philippines, there's no rules, anything goes, and then they just act dumb. Anyway, the big message here is just come with respect. It's a beautiful place. It's a special place. Everyone knows that. That's why there's so many people moving here. I mean, that's the other thing. You know, there's a lot of people coming for vacation, but then they decide that they love it so much and their job is actually remote now for whatever reason, and they're moving here. So it's getting crowded. I mean, the population is at about 1.2 million across the islands. Maui, I mean, a lot of people like Maui. It's a very beautiful place. It has a good mix of city and rural, I think. So that's what makes it appealing. The beaches are beautiful, but Oahu is beautiful too. The traffic's just bad, but it's a beautiful place. And there's a lot of places you can explore and just go hiking and nature. And that's the other thing. If you're going to do all that stuff, be safe. Don't take unnecessary risks because you want to take an Instagram picture or a TikTok dance in the middle of the beach. I don't know. I don't understand that. But that's just a different generation, I guess. Your stupidity can endanger your life, and it taxes our system. Yeah, because our firefighters and our ambulance people and our doctors have to serve you. And we already have a doctor's shortage. So, and I say this out of love because I used to be a tourist too. Now I live here and I pay taxes, and I talk to a lot of locals who, you know, they just don't get paid, some, not all. They just don't get paid what they're worth just because we live in paradise in Hawaii. It's the cost of living here. It's like, you want to live here, you're not going to get paid the top salaries that you would get on the mainland because you want to be here. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to hate on tourists. There's nothing wrong with them. I just feel like I've lived in Waikiki. So that's the other thing. I lived in Waikiki and I see it. And so I just feel like, I don't like that mentality. Tourists should have kind of this responsibility to know that they are in someone else's home and not act dumb. Yeah, luckily I haven't experienced or seen it firsthand, because I honestly don't know how I would react if I started listening to some entitled people. But anyway, I gotta go. Aloha, everybody. Tune in, KITV4.